This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Meltdown and epic experience that we have each and every weekday, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. The laughs already abundant here in the Culver studio. As I can tell, it's going to be a giggly day, which is really bad for our processing here on this side, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a blast here to my right in studio. And I don't know where in terms of the direction of how you're seeing things, but EG is here with us in the Culver studio. EG, welcome in.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday.
I'm worried that we have gotten some sort of high off of the residue from the DVD boxes. And it has caused us to be a little loopy.
A little.
So I'm worried about that.
It feels like Friday vibes.
It does, and it's not. It's a Wednesday. So
know.
it really is here midweek
Pity.
edition of the Meltdown. But sometimes midweek editions are the very best. I want to start off with EG, and I'm on Disney Plus last night.
Yes.
And next thing I know, you pop up on the screen.
And not as Rapunzel.
Not as Rapunzel, who you basically applied to portray
Yeah.
down at Disney World. Disney, ball in your court. But on Disney Plus, you literally were on a court with a ball.
I was. I covered the UAB, your alma mater.
Go Blazers.
Yep. And a great win, by the way.
It was. It was a great game.
Great game. Really, good quality basketball from both teams.
A little chippy.
A little. It got real chippy. Went towards the problem. That's going to come back and bite me one day. I do think that is necessary in my line of work to go towards conflict. Get the story.
For those that don't know, a little skirmish broke out on the court last night. It was basically a jump ball situation where one party didn't want to let go of the ball.
Yeah, and I feel like that's not that egregious, but the police did have to intervene because I feel like with basketball especially, so this happened to Iron Bowl too, a little skirmish. You don't really get the fans as involved as you do when you're in a basketball arena. They are on the ground in front of UAB fans and the band.
So I watched the 2004 Malice at the Palace live. I was watching that live. It was happening at like midnight our time. I was doing homework for school the next day, and Ron Artest is punching out people in the stands. Steven Jackson is punching out people in the stands. And the Pistons and the Pacers, it was a throwdown there in the Auburn Hills Palace of Detroit. And I just remember how intense that was watching that. And I watched this last night and it was nowhere near that intense. But because I had an invested, friendship that I didn't want to see you giving the thumbs up being wheeled out of Bartow Arena.
Right.
I wanted you to have a hospitable time in the place that I spent so many hours in my college years, especially going to all those basketball games. But overall, I hope it was a good time in a conference that you haven't yet really covered.
No, I've never covered the AAC. It was fun. I really enjoyed both teams. So UTSA's head coach right now is Austin Claunch, and he was at Alabama just a year ago. So there was an immediate storyline there, which was interesting. Andy Kennedy has been a regular on the next round for, I don't even know how long, really since the inception. And so it was a different look. And I think that it's important too in the sports world to have some versatility when it comes to different conferences and things of that nature, because you really never know when you're going to be thrown into a situation. So, for example, yesterday, I got that text, yesterday morning, and it was, hey, can you step in for this game? And having never covered either of those teams, really, it was a challenge. But I love those games because when it comes to sideline reporting, there's a lot of different angles you can take as a sideline reporter, what your specialty is. One of the reasons I love covering college basketball is because I love how personable you can get on a broadcast with basketball specifically because of how an arena is laid out. I can join huddles and hear exactly what either coach is saying, what players are getting involved in the huddles, who's encouraging their teammates. I can hear what fans are saying. I can see the parent section. Whereas other sports like football, it's so much more spread out. You don't really get that in-field
Yeah.
in arena experience.
You also are not having to battle the elements because you're in an indoor sort of fixed experience there.
Yep.
But I like how they've integrated ESPN into Disney Plus because I used to have to go to the ESPN app, and then at one point I went to Hulu to watch sports, and now I can just go to Disney Plus and it's got pretty much everything right there. And so if you missed the game, you want to watch it on replay. We've already told you the ending. UAB, congratulations.
Yep.
But the real star of the production is EG right there, giving all of those reports there courtside, and a good time was had for sure. So happy to have you back here on the Meltdown. We've got Tyler Lionel Johns making yet another appearance here on the Meltdown. And Tyler, we did our DVD mystery box yesterday, and I had committed to myself that I was going to watch one of the movies that we pulled. And I wanted to pick a movie I'd never seen before, and I picked The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
That's a choice.
That was a Blu-ray.
It was a Blu-ray. Good job, EG. You are addicted to this segment. You've been going around like, hey, can we cut open the box?
No,
and
literally.
I'm like, calm down.
It's kind of bad. It's over there. I kind of want to,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been jonesing for it.
I have.
If EG was featured in the last 10 minutes of 7, what would she be saying?
What's in the box?
She'd be saying what's in the box. So I watched The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and some people like this movie.
You're not one of them.
Oh, no. No. Maybe my least favorite movie I've ever seen in the history of movies. Maybe.
Wow.
Out of Failure to Launch and All In?
It was ranked lower than Failure to Launch for me.
So, now remind me of the plot again. This is the one where Ben Stiller just sort of has like a wild imagination and jumps into these worlds he creates, right?
He's working at a dead-end job for a magazine that is shutting down.
Always a premise.
And he's been tasked with you need to find a negative that's going to be used for the cover of the final issue, and it's very important you find this. And he's had a lot of stress on him to find this negative that's missing that he can't find. And he's got a crush on his coworker, and he have multiple interactions throughout, sort of like meet cute over and over and over again. But occasionally, Ben Stiller, who's sort of a recluse, will fantasize about what if I was the star of this movie. The problem is, he is the star of the movie, so it gets very old to me. It's like, did you ever see Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds?
No, was that like the sort of video game inspired?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Where basically Ryan Reynolds is in a situation where there's no real stakes because it's like a video game and he can kind of act out a character, but the rest of the world around him acts normal. And it's kind of got that same sort of rule set for Walter Mitty. He just has a big imagination, but like 10 scenes in the movie there's a conflict that isn't real, and then he does something spectacular that has sort of the visual approach of what a Super Bowl commercial would look like, visually. And it's like, you can tell he's dreaming. So there's nothing really happening. And then it always resets back to
boring office.
Walter, did you hear me? Are you listening? Knock, knock, knock on the head. It's like, oh, and I hate that formula. I despise it. It's done by a couple movies, but I despise the whole like dream sequence. Let's go back to what actually happened. And nobody else is experiencing this but Walter Mitty. It's not very funny at all. It's not. I didn't laugh one time. I didn't laugh one time. Didn't find it funny. It's very dry humor. Exceptionally dry humor. And he goes on a trip, multiple trips. And I despise this movie. I really hate it. I mean,
really?
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of surprised.
Such wasted potential with the on-screen ensemble. Kristen Wiig is in it. Adam Scott, who no, most notably right now in Severance, but he was in Step Brothers, and
he was the older brother in Step Brothers. Or no, I guess Derek was the younger brother, right?
Oh,
that is correct.
Okay, the Adam Scott I'm talking about and him look very different.
That is correct. But we do love you're in sports mode right now. Yeah. But no, Adam Scott is in it. It's just painfully uninspiring and uninteresting to me. And it's one of those movies that is rightfully labeled with this movie thinks it's super important moment.
Oh.
It insists upon itself.
It insists upon itself.
We actually got the full meaning of what that means. Seth MacFarlane revealed it. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
So he gets on his Twitter and he says, I've seen this meme going around. And for anyone who does not know, there's a clip of a Family Guy episode where all the characters are trapped, and at one point, Peter goes, "I did not care for The Godfather." Everybody is angry at him. It's like, how could you not like The Godfather? He says, "It insists upon itself." And that became a huge meme, and Seth MacFarlane has revealed that he once had a film history professor who did not like The Sound of Music because the movie insists upon itself.
Okay, well,
All right.
this movie definitely insists upon itself. It's a 2013 movie with Ben Stiller. If you've seen it, maybe you liked it. Maybe you don't remember it. Maybe, I don't know. There was a huge promotional campaign behind it. I don't remember if it was a Christmas Day release. I want to say it may have been
I feel like it was Christmas time.
around that
Look it up.
time. And really, I know now why I skipped it back then. And I hate it. It's something that empty people will find motivation from. And
Dang.
I know people who like
Sorry
think,
to anybody in the chat who
no,
likes that
I'm
movie.
sorry. If you like Walter Mitty, it's been nice knowing you. Meltdonia has, always been an open place for all, but Walter Mitty is now my least. If I had to describe this movie in one word, it rhymes with Mitty.
Oh,
I'll tell you that.
Oh,
it was a Christmas Day release.
Yeah.
Now, I'm seeing that there was a 1947 film also.
Yeah,
yeah. Charles says check out the original with Danny Kaye.
Yeah, the
Right.
film stars Danny Kaye as a young daydreaming proofreader for magazine publishing.
It's got to be better than what I saw with this one. So I was not happy with The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I gave it a half star out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, it is cheeks.
Where's Hunter Bussey?
Well, Tyler also gave a movie last night, Cheeks. It was not a good night for Meltdonia when it comes to watching
What movie
film.
did you see?
I went to see a movie called Both Eyes Open. Now,
Wait.
originally last night I had said, I've covered all the big movies, so I can either go see Both Eyes Open or Autumn and the Black Jaguar or just stay home. And so I thought about staying home.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I'm convinced Tyler makes up movie titles and they actually exist. Autumn and the Black Jaguar? Who's heard of that? Just Tyler.
Who? I have so many questions.
Yeah, continue.
So I'm scrolling through the app and I'm like, let's see. Yeah, I've finished up all my work early, got trash done for the next day early, and I was scrolling through the app and I was like, you know what? I might as well just go see something to cover it for the channel. And the premise of this movie is that a woman begins to hallucinate her abusive ex-boyfriend, and then over time she starts to realize, oh, it might not be a hallucination.
Oh, that's awful.
So I was expecting something very suspenseful and dark, like the Invisible Man remake, and this was not suspenseful in the least. It was just extremely boring, poorly written, poorly acted. They use all the just stereotypical royalty-free suspense music loot that you could find online for all the suspenseful scenes. But since the actual story isn't written in a suspenseful way, it's just kind of a nothing scene where you've got, like the piano strings playing.
So cheap and worthless.
Yes. And on top of that, it does the stupid thing. I hate this trend now. I hate it, Tim, so much where
Lionel
movies,
Lehman?
you know what?
We got it. It's activated.
This is the worst trend in movies right now. You take a movie, and it might not be a complete movie in the sense that all the inserts, establishing shots, B-roll is done. So they just say, let's not shoot any of that. Let's make none of these sequences flow together in any way, and let's just break it apart as if they're chapters in the movie. Sometimes this works, like with a Pulp Fiction, where you've got these different vignettes that run together. It does not work for this movie. A lot of times when this is done, it is just to cover up poor writing and poor planning and just a lack of getting people who care about putting together a good film. Take the movie Good Will Hunting, for example. You've got the big moment, the it's not your fault, son scene. Then after that scene, you've got your resolution, but we don't go straight to the resolution. No. You take some B-roll, just a guy rowing in a boat across the river. Seems like a throwaway shot, but it's a callback to earlier in the movie, It helps the tone flow and change. And in this movie, it's just so janky and clunky and disjointed, really. Disjointed is the best word for it. Nothing flows, nothing is coherent. Absolute waste of time.
Cheeks out of 5.
Sheets.
Well, last night was not good for our movie watching, but hopefully we will rebound with some stuff. 2025 so far.
Man, we better rebound tomorrow.
Oh, no.
There's going to be bad news.
We're getting the scraps of 2024 currently, right now, with what we've been seeing. We're going to get into more about what we expect in the coming year. However, we're still looking back at all the movies that traumatized Tyler and wasted his time so you wouldn't waste yours. And we have the Razzie nominations that have come out.
Who?
Yeah, E.G., I had a feeling you wouldn't be aware of what a Razzie nomination was.
I thought that was an abbreviation for raspberry.
It is not. Well, it is the golden raspberries.
Really?
You're not wrong.
That is correct, and I wanted to say that I did fix that. However, it's more notably known as just the Razzies, and it is celebrating the worst in film
Oh, really?
from 2024.
Okay, can I guess who made the list?
Of what?
Honora.
No, that's just me personally. Honora will be nominated for Best Picture.
Oh,
E.G., you're not helping my case.
Conclave. No.
Get a couple bags of popcorn.
Craven the
and
Hunter.
now start critiquing stuff.
You're getting better.
Craven the Hunter.
Craven, yeah. How do you put Honora, Conclave, which are going to both be nominated for Best Picture, and I don't know, less than 24 hours? How you put that with these movies, I don't know. So, we're going to run through really quickly some of the pain and trauma of 2024.
Okay.
Tyler, I hope you can sort of reopen that wound. Every time you stitch it back together, it's sort of reopened of the life you've lived.
Yeah. Y'all like seeing it. So here we go.
So we're going to start with Worst Picture.
All right.
And what has been nominated. And I think I'm going to name the movie and you tell me whether or not it belongs in the discussion because there's only 5 that have been nominated. So should these be the 5? Borderlands?
Yeah, definitely in the discussion.
Joker Folie à Deux?
It's awful, but I don't know. It feels like this is the easy choice for Best Picture because it's so easy to just meme on Joker 2.
Worst Picture, but yes. It is we both said in our...
Did I say Best Picture?
You said Best Picture. The end of the year...
It's a Freudian. I love Joker 2.
It's the Honora and Conclave thing that happened that made you say it. Joker 2 was our most disappointing movie of the year for both of us.
Absolutely.
Because the expectations were sky high. Because the first one was so powerful, and you're adding Lady Gaga into the mix. You're bringing back the core principal actors here and what we need with Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips. Madam Web also nominated for Worst Picture. Fair.
It's like The Room of superhero movies.
Megalopolis nominated for Worst Picture.
Absolutely. I have never seen such an over-bloated, hyped, just nothing burger.
And this is the one, and I haven't seen it. You have, Tyler. This is the one I don't think maybe necessarily belongs in Worst Picture. Reagan has been nominated for Worst Picture.
I actually didn't see this.
Oh, you did not see Reagan?
No.
I wanted to see this.
Yeah, E.G. talked about
Dennis
Reagan.
Quaid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My guy.
I thought you had seen it for some reason.
No, I didn't. I wanted to because they had was it Scott Stapp from Creed as Frank Sinatra?
Yes.
They had somebody from Creed as Frank Sinatra.
For a second, I was thinking of the movie Creed. You're talking about the band Creed, and yes, you're right. There's a Sinatra impression in there. But Reagan nominated for Worst Picture. I do feel like there are some candidates that would be stronger for the consideration. I think The Strangers Chapter 1 is absolute cheeks out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think The Crow should have been.
The Crow is actually the biggest snub on there.
The Crow probably should have taken Reagan's spot.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think the winner of Worst Picture will be Joker Folie à Deux.
I think it will be too. It's entered the cultural just knowledge of it being a god-awful movie.
Nikki Glaser, that's the one thing that she sort of went really tough on at the Golden Globe. She said, I'm going to be nice. She comes out and Joker was completely like, I'm eviscerated by her. So, it's fun to crap on this movie because it is so pretentiously bad.
Yes.
I like that. Pretentiously bad.
Pretentiously bad. Like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which, by the way, Joker 2 makes Secret Life of Walter Mitty look like...
Wow.
it makes Joker 2 look really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oof.
Worst actor, Jack Black from Dear Santa.
I didn't like the premise of this, so I didn't even bother with this.
Same here. Zachary Levi from Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Okay, I didn't go see it, but the only thing I heard was how awful it was and just what a waste it was. And when I went to the theaters, I talked to some of the employees and I was like, "How many tickets are you guys selling for this movie?"
Get the inside scoop, Lionel.
They said not a one. Not even one.
Yeah, Harold and the Purple Crayon. Zachary Levi hasn't had the best run over the past couple of years.
No, not at all.
Joaquin Phoenix for Joker Folie à Deux. Dennis Quaid for Reagan. Sorry.
No.
Dennis Quaid's great in The Substance, so maybe that'll help balance out some of that. And then Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted.
Still haven't gotten around to Unfrosted.
I do feel like the clubhouse leader is once again, based on the headlines and all that, it's going to be Joaquin Phoenix for Joker Folie à Deux.
I mean, none of those other movies even made any kind of splash.
For Worst Actress, Cate Blanchett for Borderlands.
That's like near lock.
Lady Gaga for Joker Folie à Deux.
Also possible.
This is one EG saw in the theater this year.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the list.
Bryce Dallas Howard for Argyle.
Is that the guy?
That's the girl. This is lead actress. Thank you for being with us today,
No,
Eugene. You can see the door now.
No. Yeah, I hated that movie. That was the worst movie ever.
Not the worst movie ever. I've seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Okay,
but
well, no, that's not my worst movie
Argyle,
ever.
very disappointing this year.
So bad.
Could have had Argyle in Worst Picture instead of Reagan, potentially.
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson for Madam Web, who I think...
She might be a lock.
You got 3 locks.
That's
also.
so sad.
Kate Blanchett.
It's Kate Blanchett.
Whatever.
Kate
Who
Blanchett.
cares?
It's like there's a Blanchett. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not Blanchett. Blanchett, I believe, is one of the Golden Girls. It's just Blanche, but I was making a joke.
Yeah. Or when you blanch like broccoli.
That's what I was trying to get a joke for, but I couldn't think of one. Thank you, EG. Anyway, yes, she was awful in Borderlands. That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But Dakota Johnson, it goes back to the whole Joker 2 thing. Dakota Johnson was just known and making headlines for Madam Web being such a stinker and her not really knowing what it was, wanting to watch the movie, and even in fact saying that she would skip the movie as a form of self-care.
Wow.
There you have it.
Okay.
Forget everything I said earlier. Dakota Johnson's
I believe it will be Dakota Johnson, and Jennifer Lopez for Atlas is the 5th nomination.
I didn't know J-Lo was still acting.
Well, that's
not
sad.
many people do, EG. Not many people do.
We won't run through supporting actor and supporting actress, except for the fact I want to highlight FKA Twigs for The Crow.
Who's that?
In the supporting actress category.
She is a singer who played Skarsgård's girlfriend in The Crow.
It is the worst female performance I've seen all year long. She plays Shelley. Awful. Awful. And I hope she wins, even though she doesn't have maybe the profile of some of these other names. All right. For worst director, you've got S.J. Clarkson for Madam Web, Francis Ford Coppola for Megalopolis, Eli Roth for Borderlands, Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted. Probably will go to Todd Phillips for Joker Folie à Deux.
That's a tough race right there. You got some heavy hitters.
I think my favorite nominations from the Razzies is the category of screen combo.
Oh, okay.
What does screen combo entail? This
is what it says. Any 2 obnoxious characters, but especially Jack Black from Borderlands.
Jack Black is awful in Borderlands. Truly, truly awful.
Any 2 unfunny comedic actors from Unfrosted. The entire cast of Megalopolis.
Dang.
Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga for Joker Folie à Deux.
Oh.
And Dennis Quaid and Penelope Ann Miller as Ronnie and Nancy and Reagan. Reagan, I mean, people hate Reagan.
Yeah, people are going in on
Reagan.
Reagan.
Is it really that bad?
It's politics, is what this is. It's politics. Prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel, The Crow, Joker Folie à Deux, Kraven the Hunter, making its way in there, Mufasa the Lion King, and Rebel Moon 2, The Scargiver. Mufasa's going to come across unscathed out of this because Joker Folie à Deux is in, I believe, I believe Joker's in 7 of the 9 categories in some capacity. And then worst screenplay, probably the lock again, Joker, Folie à Deux. So Joker's going to get destroyed by the Razzies. We will hear the winners of those the day before the Oscars.
The only thing it's not nominated in is supporting actor and supporting actress. And that's just because there's nobody that you could actually give that to. Because all you see is Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga.
There you go. Okay, so there we have it. The Razzies, Joker. Maybe they'll sweep the Razzies. Who knows? There's a chance. I don't think Lady Gaga is going to be. I think she may be the only one that walks away unscathed because she has to share a category with, as Tyler put it, 3 other locks or potentially 3 other locks. Okay, I've got to get to this news. Tyler, I'm sure you've seen it, but I want to get your reaction as we have now learned about Robert Eggers' new project that he's going to be working on.
Rasputin.
This was announced today.
Is that Russian?
What does that mean, by the way, when you say that?
So Rasputin was his name was Grigory Rasputin, and he was like
Warrior.
a what?
Never mind, keep going.
He was like a mystic, sort of occultist kind of guy, and he served as an advisor to the Russian queen at the time. I forget her name.
Okay. Well, do you know when that releases?
Let me check. I do not.
Tyler, I need to tell you something.
Hold on one second. I've got to get this out.
Okay.
It was announced today that Robert Eggers is going to reteam with Focus Features for his next film called Werewolf.
Oh.
A werewolf horror feature that he co-wrote. The film is slated for a Christmas 2026 release.
Oh, okay.
So that project may be in the works.
I did see a bunch of stuff about Rasputin.
Okay.
I don't know if that's actually official.
Gotcha. The werewolf movie is, E.G., go ahead.
Well, yeah, so obviously there's rumors that I'm a Russian spy.
Mainly started by you, yes.
No, not started by me at all.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay. Take me off your list.
But guess what color this is, Tyler? You can't.
Blue?
Yes. You're not wrong. I'm getting my nails done. And I go to pick out. Just wait.
No. I'm going to say something.
Baltic blue. I don't know.
Quit sniffing the DVDs, okay? Go ahead. Your turn. But quit. It's not good for you.
So I'm going to get my nails done. This is before poker. And this is by numbers, not color. So I select number 40. The shade is Russian Navy. It's
there weird.
We go. Sorry, we brought up the Russians.
It's fine. You guys are bringing up things that have nothing to do with the story I'm talking about, but I think we're getting another werewolf movie here. I know for a fact we are. Christmas 2026. Are you going to be seated for that one with as much excitement as potentially Nosferatu? I know we just saw Wolfman, so it's a little tough to wipe our palate completely cleansed of that experience. But I'm excited for a proper Wolfman movie, potentially.
Yeah, we might get one.
Okay.
I trust Robert Eggers to do it.
We'll see what happens. I think it's set in 13th century England, so
Ooh,
of course,
kind of like that vibe.
Of course, it is. It is a requirement when Robert Eggers makes a movie that it is set in at least 18th century.
I think it could be a lot of fun.
But didn't you say that we're going to see an uptick in classic horror, vampires, werewolves, like monsters?
Yes, we are already sort of scheduled to see that. The question is, will the quality be there with the quantity? Because it's hard to get modern audiences to care about these classic monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw someone in the chat asking about the Frankenstein trailer. Have they released a Frankenstein trailer today?
I saw somebody ask about it. I haven't seen anything about that.
I don't know. Check that out for me, Tyler, because there's 2 Frankenstein movies coming out this year.
Wow, that's
one from Maggie Gyllenhaal, one from Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
So one is a Bride of Frankenstein movie, and one is a reimagining of Frankenstein. It's going to be on Netflix towards the end of the year. So let me know if you see anything. I haven't seen anything.
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. Let's go to an EG-centric story here that I pulled. And it continues to come up, right? Today's the first day where I'm like, I don't want to talk about It Ends With Us anymore.
Yeah.
Justin Baldoni released a new bit of footage to try to make the claim that he was the one that was actually cool on set and try to undo Blake Lively, and I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
He says, she says again. But I do want to get into this one, which we've talked about a lot. That is the original Harry Potter director, Chris Columbus, saying that this is the opposite of what you're saying. It's a spectacular idea for HBO to do a TV reboot. Quote, there's a certain restriction when you're making a film. You can get all the stuff in the series that we didn't have an opportunity to do in the films, all these great scenes that we just couldn't put in the films. I look forward to seeing what they're going to do with it. I think it's great. You've pretty much vowed to not watch the television series.
No, I thought that the original casting was so iconic and good that I don't want another Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron. And
even though, kids these days, even though those films still exist and they can watch them by getting a mystery box full of Harry Potter DVDs, but that kids these days, that may be their first introduction into the series, right?
Yeah, I see the value in what he's saying in the sense of they will get to explore more. What was interesting about Harry Potter is I would read a book when I first got introduced to it. I was much older than when it came out. I was in high school, but I'd read one of the books and then watch the movie. And it was always so interesting because it was like the movie was fast forwarding the book, especially when you watch and read back to back. And that does entice me and is exciting that, okay, we might see more of those side stories or more, in-depth character arcs and things like that. But I would rather them do that with different angles of Harry Potter, not those 3.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we'll see if how
I'll
much
probably
they
watch it.
expand on the lore. You probably will watch it.
When is it coming out?
I'm not even sure they started shooting yet.
Oh, Lord. I'll have like a child and
I would say 2026.
But they're planning on having
never
one
mind.
season every year, so that way they don't run into the
Stranger Things?
into the Stranger Things issue.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And lately, Tyler, we've seen so much of a gap between seasons of television that it's been tough. And
yeah, it turns out that the winner all along was just having a regular old 30-minute
weekly
20 episode season on
ABC
on network television. Exactly.
There we go. Okay, we move on to this. Don't know if you guys are fans at all of Chris Brown, but Chris Brown is suing Warner Brothers $500 million over sexual assault allegations posed in its investigation discovery docuseries Chris Brown: A History of Violence.
So
no way.
To my knowledge, that program called him a quote serial rapist. So if that hasn't been proven in a court of law, then that's called defamation per se, where you don't have to prove damages because you've accused someone of a crime so heinous that you have damaged their reputation. So, yeah, Warner Brothers might lose that one.
We shall see. There may be a settlement, may not go to court, who knows? But Chris Brown suing Warner Brothers for $500 million.
Never thought I'd be on Chris Brown's team, but don't take a swing like that when it's Chris Brown. Like, you can make all the shots you need to make.
Was that a shot right there? Don't take a swing. Was that?
Yeah, that's what Chris shouldn't have done. But yeah,
I set him up. I got us there 70%.
You can't act shocked and appalled now.
You're a basketball correspondent. Did Tyler end up scoring the bucket? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have
was it a perfect pass where I drew every defender out of the lane?
Yeah. You threw the lob up.
1,000%. And why am I lobbing to Tyler? That doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Physically.
The DVD fumes are getting to us.
They're pungent. I feel like a Frank Grillo werewolf right now. Okay, we move on to this. Netflix, which now has more than 300 million subscribers. Think about that for a second.
So stupid. I don't like them.
Okay. God.
All right, Tim, what's going on with Netflix?
I'm sorry. I got kicked off the Netflix again, like as of 2 days ago.
Because you're trying to not pay for it.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, like at some point you got to look in the mirror and be like, do I hate Netflix?
They just keep trying to stop me from stealing.
It's the principle behind it.
Right.
Mr. Redbox Stealer. Remember that?
I never actually stole anything. And
you thought about
did anybody else who actually grabbed anything out of the red box.
I do look forward to Tyler inviting us over to his apartment one day. And when we get through the horde of raccoons.
It's just Redbox.
No, there's an actual Redbox machine in his apartment.
Multiple Redbox machines just lined up.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll tell you, if you do have a Redbox, I can quit buying these DVD boxes. You can just bring in your Redbox haul. Okay. Netflix Netflix raising their subscription prices in the U.S. again.
Ooh, look at that.
So, e.g., if you do end up paying for it, which I know you won't because you're
I'm not.
a person of
refuse.
principle, and that if you're gonna steal something, you ain't paying for it. Anyway, their ad-supported tier will now cost $7.99 per month.
Ad-supported? So you're gonna get ads now?
Oh, that's already a thing.
I don't ever see those.
Yeah, for $6.99, you can buy their ad-supported deal. Their standard plan is going up by $2.50 to $17.99 per month.
What?
That is outrageous.
They have not
Netflix. For Netflix, their catalog isn't even good.
Do you need to lean in?
No, that's just absurd.
Netflix is raising their prices for the standard plan, which has previously not been affected. The standard plan's been pretty set, where you have a limited number of HD content that you can stream at the same time, but within the household you can have a good time. It is going up to $17.99 per month. The premium tier, which is all the best number of TVs that can access high quality content with the highest quality resolution, all that, is going up to $25 per month.
That is insane.
Well,
I love how they have split it up to where you can't access a certain amount of HD content without paying more. It's like, no, we'll give it to you in 360p.
For 1 month of premium Netflix, I can get 50 DVDs and Blu-rays. Think about that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with my lifestyle.
Yeah, we are happy.
But I also pay for Netflix. Okay, we go to this. E.g., buckle up. Nope, do it again. There we go. Didn't click the first time. Duck Dynasty is heading back to A&E. This is 8 years after the hit unscripted series ended its run on the network. Will you be going on another cruise?
Yes. We talked about it in the family group message today. Oh, just almost pulled off my headphones.
That wouldn't have been good.
So excited.
You have a weird relationship with Duck Dynasty.
I do.
You are told you resemble one of the Duck Dynasty people?
Yep, Sadie Robertson.
That's one of the beardless ones, I assume.
Yes.
And I'm just throwing that out. And you have some sort of familial tie with this because your whole family geeks out over Duck Dynasty. Will y'all be watching this in spirit together?
100%.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Be a live text going on during the...
For sure.
Okay.
It's going to be so much fun.
Tyler, I will not be watching Duck Dynasty in its return.
I probably won't.
But you might.
I used to occasionally watch some Duck Dynasty back in the day, but I was not to the level of fandom EG.
I know.
I didn't go on the Duck Dynasty cruise with Cy and Jason Willie.
How was the food on the cruise, by the way?
It's a good question.
Well, it was cruise food.
I just imagine for some reason it was stew every single night.
No, there was buffet. Had like the night where you do the napkins. It was fine. I don't remember much of it.
At the buffet, did everybody get together and then have like a narration
prayer,
like they do at the end of the episode?
Yeah. No, shockingly, we did not do that. We did have a Bible study though. I am so excited for this. I've kept up with the Robertson family since it went off air. So social media wise, I follow all of them still.
Your biggest fan in the chat, Baron Trump.
Oh, hey, Baron.
Says Duck Dynasty Cruise, we just keep winning.
Yeah.
So
we do just keep winning.
There you go.
Awesome.
Okay, we move on to this. Barbie and La La Land star Ryan Gosling is set to star in an untitled Star Wars movie to be directed by Deadpool and Wolverine filmmaker Sean Levy. What do you think about this announcement that Ryan Gosling is going to be the star of a Star Wars film? Here's what I'll say. We've heard about a lot of Star Wars films that have been put into pre-production.
Oh, yeah.
That never make it past that phase. We have not gotten a Star Wars film since 2019. And I'm just not convinced we're going to ever get another Star Wars movie. I don't know.
It might be... The IP might have just tarnished its name to the point where you really can't expect the kind of returns you would need on a feature-length Star Wars film.
Yeah.
You got Last Jedi, which really hurt the fan base, really split them up. Rise of Skywalker only added fuel to that fire. And then now you've got all the buzz that the Acolyte got. And
I'm going to
I
make
think
it.
some people are just going to check out and be done.
Yeah. I'm going to make a statement that I don't think is that bold, but it may be once I put it out there because I haven't really thought through it, and I'm saying it here out of the heart. Star Wars is at its best when it focuses on its characters and the connectivity that the characters have with the audience. The world itself, the Star Wars universe, is not enough any longer to sell people on whether or not it's good or bad, or whether or not it's good Star Wars.
Well, I would argue they barely even really get into the Star Wars world. Um, Typically, it's just Coruscant and Tatooine. But then on the chances we have gotten to see other planets, other star systems, whatever you want to call it, like an acolyte, it's just done poorly. So I don't know what the answer is because you don't want to see him go back to the well and see the two moons on Tatooine again, but you also just don't want to see generic space planet world number
Star Wars
52.
has a problem with not being able to create something independent of the original trilogy. Like, they always have to have a tie-in. There always has to be a character that pops up out of nowhere. There always has to be, like, even in The Acolyte, if you haven't watched The Acolyte, save yourself, by the way. Don't watch it. It's on Disney Plus, along with EG. Don't watch The Acolyte. But at the end, in the final frames, who pops up? Yoda. They had to have Yoda in there, you know.
And
And
then Darth Plagueis about 5 minutes before that.
yeah, Mandalorian even got to a point where it's like, okay, we're going to bring back Boba Fett, and then we're going to give him his own series, and everything has to tie back in, and they need to figure out a way to develop new characters that we care about. The closest they got to that was Rogue One.
Yeah.
But even in that, they still had to pigeonhole OG trilogy stuff. Now, it makes sense because it's a direct lead into episode 4, so they get away with it. But, Andor, $750 million to make 2 seasons of television. Yeah. And I can't, for some reason, I can't click play on it. I don't know why. I can't start it. I don't know why, but I've got to. I just don't feel any desire to watch Andor, which is a prequel to a prequel.
That's a disgusting amount of money to spend on TV.
Well,
that like legitimately disgusting.
It's a lot of money. But from what I hear with Andor, you actually see that money on the screen
Okay.
compared to the Acolyte, where you didn't see any of it on screen, and it was like, what, $300 million, something like that? I don't know. Maybe it was more than that.
Acolyte was about 250.
Oh, okay. We move on to this. A franchise actually making money, Tyler. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh.
Sonic 3 has taken in over $387 million worldwide.
That's a lot of gold rings.
It is. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 will officially be released in theaters in spring of 2027.
Mm-hmm.
You excited about this one?
I am. That's a bit of a, excuse me, bit of a longer wait than I expected because Sonic 3 ends with a post-credit scene. Well, actually, two post-credit scenes that make you think like, oh, we're getting right into Sonic 4. It must be like on the way. They already knew Sonic 4 was gonna be made before this one came out. But no, I guess not.
Yeah, we officially have the release there spring of 2027, which gives them a little bit of wiggle room there, but overall a franchise right now that's still on the right path.
Absolutely, absolutely. The third one, this is spoilers for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 if you haven't seen it. So if you want to avoid spoilers, just close your ears real quick. The ending of Sonic 3 has Metal Sonic and Amy Rose appear. These are two fan favorite characters, and you also see that Shadow is still alive. So we're gonna get the whole gang back together with Sonic 4. All right, the spoiler's over now.
Awesome.
I closed my ears.
I did too.
Even though we both have
Yeah,
headphones
that
on.
was pretty impressive that y'all managed to cover your ears
Okay.
while you
Yeah.
had headphones.
Can't
just how we
sneak nothing
roll.
by you, Tyler. You got us.
Darn.
Guilty.
That's charged.
Move on to this. Pretty much the most underwhelming headline I have today.
All right.
Gladiator 2 is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
You're right, that is underwhelming.
It is.
Cool.
Gladiator 2 was the most average movie I saw this year. It's just
Yeah.
very average. Like, I didn't hate it.
I had fun.
I didn't love it. I just thought it was like, okay, Gladiator 2, good for you. Let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like, good. Denzel, this was supposed to be a vehicle for him to get a lot of acting nominations.
I mean, I just felt like he played Denzel in the movie, so it didn't really show off what he can do. It just shows off. It's like, yep, we got Denzel.
You're exactly right that Denzel plays Denzel in the Gladiator setting. And guess what? I didn't hate it, but it is like unapologetically like Denzel's just going to be thrown into this universe. Deal with it. Okay, cool. I'll take Denzel in any universe. Throw Denzel in a Batman movie, throw Denzel in a Star Wars movie, throw Denzel in any universe. I'll take it. We move on to this. Variety says in the upcoming film Companion, director Drew Hancock manipulates anxieties about the rise of the machines with a clever and darkly satirical thriller that co-stars Jack Quaid. It's being called a clever late January surprise.
Interesting.
Tyler, we have seen some garbage so far in January.
Oh, yeah.
Typically, in January, movies are sent there to sort of be forgotten about. Too late to be a part of 2024, too early to really be a talk of 2025. January movies typically suck because everyone's still feasting on those Christmas leftovers. And in this case, with Wicked, Thanksgiving leftovers. I've heard, I've read, I've seen some pretty nice things being said about Companion. We have our trailer reaction. It's out there on the channel. I am really looking forward to Companion.
I am, even though I kind of wish we hadn't watched the trailer that came out because I just preferred the teaser. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I would recommend not watching the trailer if you are interested in this movie because, in my opinion, the full length trailer gives a little too much about the story away. In my opinion,
I can't state this enough. By the way, I want to say, is it not up there? I'd be shocked if it wasn't. I'm sure it is. But one of my favorite movies I've seen over the past couple of years. Oh, there it is. It's on the big board. It's on my wish list of DVD boxes. Barbarian. It's right there under Inside Man, which stars Denzel Washington. And right above Halloween Kills. Barbarian. This is from the creators of Barbarian. I got to get Tyler to watch that movie. Like, it's a movie you would hate, EG.
you have been asking me to watch Barbarian for gosh, probably a year at this point.
What's the hesitation?
Well, I don't know. I just haven't gotten to it.
Just haven't gotten around to it. Bill Skarsgård is in this, and Justin Long, and I would just love for you to watch that movie and give me your feedback. I wish they would re-release it in theaters so that way
what year
you
it
would
came out?
Go see it. It came out in 2022.
Okay.
So it's a newer film, but the premise is girl pulls up to a house.
I'm already scared.
In the middle of the night, it's raining.
I'm already scared.
Oh, E.G., you would be screaming the entire time with nothing going on. Like you'd be screaming at the characters of what they should do.
I really want to hear EG review a horror movie.
She won't do it.
She won't do it, but I think it'd be good content.
I would say it only costs $10 million, but I don't even think we got her to agree to that.
No, we didn't.
But girl shows up to a house. It's an Airbnb in the middle of the night. It's raining. It is in Detroit.
Scary.
And she goes up to the door and the code doesn't work. She can't get in. Porch light is on, but she looks sort of in there and she sees someone's in the house.
Okay. My first question is, why are you by yourself in the middle of the night trying to go to an Airbnb in an unfamiliar location? And when the code doesn't work, go back to your car and drive away and go to a well-lit area and get on your Airbnb app and message the host.
Well, she does message the host.
Okay.
And I don't think gets anywhere with that, but knocks on the door and Bill Skarsgård opens up.
Scary guy, I'm assuming.
Scary guy in the house. And
kidnaps her.
E.G., don't spoil anything. It puts you in a situation where you're like, what should this girl do given the circumstances of she's been on the road this whole entire time? She needs this. She's booked this place. She's got the receipt. And they have a conversation about what's going on. And it's just so good. I love Barbarian. I could watch it. The first 20 minutes of Barbarian, I think, is perfect. It's just perfect screenplay. And I would love for Tyler to watch it. Tyler, do you like Psycho? I mean, I get some Psycho vibes, like a Norman Bates sort of vibe as well with Barbarian. If you can ever get around to it, Barbarian, I'd love for you to watch it. You can text me. I don't care if it's 3 a.m. Hey, I watched Barbarian.
Isn't it on Max?
It's been on Max forever. I don't know if it still is, but
that looks so scary.
Yeah. Anyway, Okay.
That thing?
Stop. EG, just don't. You're going to end up now. You're going to just don't talk about it at all anymore.
I know that'd be like that's like so
No.
gross looking.
No. Stop.
I had to cut away to
What part
not
of
look at
stop?
your phone, EG. So
Are you
I
done?
know.
You're spoiling it for me.
No, that just like she needs to go. You know who she needs to go to?
All right,
EG.
What?
Stop.
Sorry. Who does she need to go to?
We'll talk about it in a little
Okay.
bit. Okay, we go to this.
A20 done trying to spoil movies I haven't seen yet.
Oh
She's
my
done
gosh,
with it. She's
I'm
done with
done.
it.
All right.
She had to be forcefully
I
detained
apologize.
for Russianness.
I apologize.
Okay, here we go. A24 has released the trailer for Opus, a celebrity cult horror movie about a writer invited to the remote compound of a reclusive pop star. We've watched the trailer for this. Movie comes out March 14th. To me, this looks like Blink Twice, which I didn't see last year, but it's got that same vibe.
It looks like Blink Twice mixed with The Idol, except maybe if The Idol wasn't made by a perv.
Oh.
Well, there we go. They put that on the poster. Like The Idol, if it wasn't made by a perv.
I mean, am I wrong?
I'm just saying, don't get a $500 million lawsuit aimed towards you, Tony. We also saw Warner Brothers release a second trailer for Mickey 17 from the Academy Award-winning writer-director of Parasite, releasing a week earlier than Opus on March 7th. These are movies that we will see this year back to back. Which one of these two are you more excited for, Tyler?
Mickey 17. It hits that sort of weird sci-fi world meets dark comedy that I really enjoy. And this more recent trailer that we got really shows off more of the wacky comedy side of the world, as opposed to the first trailer, which was just very dark and it had a little bit of comedy here and there, but not nearly as much.
Yeah, this second trailer is way more commercial, and I think it's a much better trailer. Shows you more of the vibe. To me, I got a little bit of the vibe of the Emma Stone Frankenstein movie. You know what I'm talking about? What's it called?
Emma Stone Frankenstein.
Yeah. You know that came out here and won her an Academy Award last year.
Oh, Poor Things.
Poor Things.
Yeah.
So
I thought you were literally talking about like a Frankenstein movie.
No, it's
a
Frankenstein type movie.
Yes.
Poor Things. It kind of has that same vibe to me in terms of the sort of like there are serious actions happening on screen, but it's also sort of a wink and a nod that like we're playing it up too. We're kind of hamming it up. Like the only thing this is missing is a Willem Dafoe in there somehow, some way. But Mark Ruffalo, I think, is the thing that he's in both movies.
Yes.
So that's the reason I'm maybe feeling that way. But this one does feel like it could be a lot of fun. And
I don't want to see Robert Pattinson do any furious jumping, though.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I do feel if you were going to star in a movie, Tyler, this would be you in a movie. Like I feel like when I watch it, it looks like a perfect role for you.
You know what? I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I am the type to just be like, well, I do need money. Let me sign up as an expendable. Go ahead and kill me 30 times and keep printing me out.
Oh gosh.
You and Robert Pattinson have a similar sort of vibe in this. Like I've seen you walk down the hall and your hair's similar in this. And I'm just saying, I can't unsee Tyler starring in Mickey 17. So
Okay.
It's the kind of job I would take.
Wow.
Mission Impossible 8 director Christopher McQuarrie says, we had a small screening and someone said I was suffocating throughout the entire sequence. I almost had a heart attack. And I thought, I guess we did something right. This, a director's not going to come out and say we had a small screening and everybody said it sucked. But supposedly the action is so intense in this Tom Cruise spectacle that it's causing audiences to have panic attacks. That's the early approach. I feel like this is a little bit of the Terrifier marketing campaign already getting underway.
Yeah.
This is the scariest movie since The Exorcist. This is the most action-packed movie since Die Hard.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of nothing.
And to be fair, Terrifier, it does more of like audiences are having physical reactions to what's happening on screen. Christopher McQuarrie saying that is the case with the next.
There goes the pen.
There goes the pen. The next Mission Impossible movie is supposedly really intense, according to the director behind it. Tyler, you got to check in with us.
Actually, no. I was clearing my chest.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
I apologize about that. False signal. Josh Gad almost landed a role in the 2009 sci-fi epic Avatar, but he didn't quite have the physical archetype James Cameron was looking for.
Interesting.
Saying, quote, "I apparently did not get the role because while James Cameron was said to be thrilled with my audition, when I was turned into a digital avatar, I supposedly looked like a tall, overweight Smurf." So that may be one of my favorite quotes. I just wanted to say that quote.
Oh my gosh.
It's great. He's doing a Spaceballs sequel. Josh Gad is.
So I assume he's playing Barf.
I don't know if he's actually going to be in the movie. I know he's
Yeah,
directing
that's
it.
a good point. If he was playing anybody in the movie, it'd be Barf.
Very much potentially, yes. I would love to see Rick Moranis return,
Oh, of course. Yes.
but I don't think we're going to get that.
I don't think we will.
I think Rick is really committed to trying to stay out of the limelight. Okay, EG, I know you've seen it. You had to have at this point. Billy Ray Cyrus speaking out about his Trump inauguration performance. Did you see Billy Ray Cyrus's performance?
Did he play Achy Breaky Heart?
He sort of played it.
He
He
looked
didn't.
inebriated, to put it nicely.
I think that's fair analysis.
Yes.
But Billy Ray Cyrus had an epic, awful performance at the Trump inauguration ball there and said his equipment went to hell. Quote, "I wouldn't have missed the honor of playing this event whether my microphone, guitar, and monitors worked or not. I had a ball." Now, he referenced Carrie Underwood on the stage saying, "Hey, Carrie had problems earlier today singing, and I'm having the same problems with my technical piece." Billy Ray Cyrus came out and mumbled while the Old Town Road music video played behind him.
Yeah.
The reason that happened is because I think they knew he was not capable of actually singing, so they played the entire music video instead while he stood out there and sort of like
Jammed.
hummed along and danced a little bit, and it was awkward, and the crowd was like, "What is this?"
Oh.
And then he tried to play his guitar, and it didn't work, and he had to have a stagehand come out and look at it, but he was like, "They told me to come out here and kill time, and, let's sing Achy Breaky Heart." And he starts snapping and singing it, and he can't hold a tune to save his life.
I'm getting secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, it was rough. And then they cut the lights out on him, and he's still up there sort of meandering around.
No.
It was bad.
Mm.
Anyway, if you want to watch a train wreck there, you can watch that. Do you know who Bailey Zimmerman is?
Yeah.
American country singer and songwriter Bailey Zimmerman is issuing an apology to fans after he performed drunk at the Crash My Playa Music Festival in Cancun, Mexico, saying, "I got up on stage and I was too drunk to play, and I sang awful. I played awful. Nobody got the show that they wanted or paid for, and I'm disappointed in myself." He said he's still growing up and all that stuff. So please forgive him.
A little correction is probably the Crash My Playa
The
festival.
beach.
Oh,
Playa is a Spanish word for beach.
Yeah,
It's probably not Crash My Playa.
This is why. Hold on one second. This is why I got to take that
Duolingo,
so that way I can annoy everybody else in the room too.
Yeah.
It works perfect.
It does. Anyways.
Thank you for the correction, Tyler.
No problem, Tim.
I believe you have a chat check-in. Nope, it's just Garrett's.
I feel like that's becoming a common trend with young country artists, specifically the men, to have these events and either get a little too drunk beforehand to be able to perform or have to cancel last minute. And it's not shocking that he has fallen victim to those antics.
That is correct. And I feel like he's definitely taking a couple pages out of the Morgan Wallen playbook on how to properly approach this, probably make him more popular because he's taking on the accountability and it's a social thing. And we're talking about it right now. So is any publicity bad publicity? Depends on, I guess, the actual publicity.
He was a frequent in Statesboro. He'd come perform down there.
Seems like y'all had a lot of country artists that came down there.
Blue Room was where Riley Green was there. Luke Bryan has been there. Bailey Zimmerman. I don't know if Morgan Wallen ever went to Statesboro. Migos went to Statesboro.
Well,
shocker.
I am amazed by the musical talent that has made its way through there.
What can I say?
If you crash your playa and you knock out your front tooth, I recommend you go visit the team at Alabama Dental Associates, located on Grants Mill Road. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, Dr. Nolan there. They're going to make sure that you're met with a friendly experience over at Alabama Dental. They're on Grants Mill Road, providing you all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. Maybe you've gotten lax with those routine checkups. You put them off, and all of a sudden you start to feel something weird when you bite down, and you need to get looked at there. It's a smart move to make with Alabama Dental Associates, where you can reach out and try the team for yourself. They're accepting new patients now and can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205-956-8977. That's 205-956-8977, or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. But yeah, country music wise right now, EG, Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, who else?
I always end there. I feel like I was trying to name my top 3 artists, and it's Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, and I guess Zach Bryan would be Zach Bryan or Tyler Childers. I don't like either of them though.
Well, you told me, I thought you told me they wouldn't even be close to your top 20, those two.
No, they wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
I thought are we just naming just
Like
popular
who right now you think is doing the best within country music that you actually have some sort of connection
I
to their
think
music?
Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs. I
Okay.
don't know
So
if I
it's
can
a
name a
top-heavy
third.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you who would be I mean, I love Eric Church, I love Kenny Chesney, I love that older group, Jason Aldean,
Yep.
but they're not making really new music
Hunter
right
says
now.
Riley Green.
Green. Yeah, I don't know. He was yeah.
Okay. I really have enjoyed Riley Green's music lately, especially I've gotten more into it. Alabama native for sure, so
Yeah.
that helps. And he with You Look Like You Love Me song that he
Yeah.
does with
Ella Langley.
Ella Langley.
Yeah.
Yes, she's also an Alabama native. He's blowing up right now, which is great. And I'm a big Eric Church fan, but you're right. No new music for a hot minute. Need to get some new music out there from Eric Church. I really like Megan Maroney.
I do too.
Like, I think she's fantastic, but we'll see if one day we not only get EG to expand her list, but maybe, just maybe, Tyler adds one country act to his list in the future.
Yeah.
I've seen Riley Green, believe it or
Oh,
not.
in Auburn?
No, I was in Gulf Shores during spring break. It was the same spring break where they ended up sending out the email saying school's canceled,
2020.
2 weeks to slow the spread.
Yep.
And we went to a party at one of the condos near the Floribama, and that person had a balcony. And I went out on the balcony, and Riley Green was playing Colt 45 by Afro Man.
Oh yeah, he does sing that.
What's with all these country musicians being too inebriated to play though? I feel like I've seen just musicians for like rock and then like rappers be way more trashed and
Yeah.
still
Get out
manage
there.
to try and perform.
I feel like the difference is, and could be wrong, this might be a generalization. Those acts might just come out 3 hours late, but then like the country acts just cancel.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that a lot,
Yeah.
but it's not a new thing in country music.
Mm-mm.
Artists playing drunk and artists missing shows and artists having problems with their sobriety in real life that,
Yeah.
they're long before social media. So,
Like I feel like this might be a generalization, but country music artists are more likely to just cancel the show and say, "Ah, I'm too drunk. I'm not even going out there." Whereas, like, if you go to another genre of music, they will still usually try to go out there, and it'll just be a disaster.
yeah, there's a team. All of these individuals have teams around them that care very much about how they can be marketed,
Mm-hmm.
especially on all the social media platforms. It's changed the entire face of country music right now, for better, in some cases, for worse in others. But these teams are very protective over maintaining some level of value in these artists that show up to perform. And I promise you, the night that I think there's a couple nights where Morgan Wallen wasn't able to come out and perform, those weren't decisions made by him.
Yeah, I agree.
Those were decisions made by a team that very much wanted to protect sort of that bankroll that they had built up with Morgan and his reputation. But he seems to be almost cancel proof, to be honest. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I know like people are mad at him for that other incident with
Yeah.
his neighbor, I believe, but is it really that much of a problem if he just drinks? Like, I wouldn't see that being like a huge sort of controversy
Well, he definitely drinks.
in the country.
Yeah.
I'm not saying just like drinks, period, but drinks to excess.
Drinks to a point of not being able to move is a problem.
I would agree that's a problem, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that the country fan base really saw it as much of a problem as apparently it is.
When they make the moves to secure the tickets, get the parking, get the hotel, go on the trip, it starts to create an uproar for sure from disappointed people who, because especially if you're seated and it's a minute before the person's supposed to come
Yeah.
out,
Okay.
it's a very big frustration there. But Eric Church, he canceled a show in advance because North Carolina made the Final Four, and he wanted to go to watch the game. And he told I think it was San Antonio, Texas, where he was like, "Sorry, I got to go watch the Tar Heels play because he's such a diehard North Carolina fan. I know this has been on the books. We're going to come back. We're going to make it even bigger and better than ever, but I'm going to have to, get rid of this." And people are like, biggest Eric Church fan in the world, but this was my only chance to really see you. I'd already carved out my schedule. But it's a weird relationship right now that people have with their favorite artists due to social media, feeling like they're constantly connected. And that can be a double-edged sword.
I felt like with the Taylor Swift cancellation in Vienna that her fans absolutely handled that in the most poor way possible. She got so much backlash for that and so much visceral hatred from her fans that it was like, you guys need to get a reality check. That was a terrorist
You're
plot
saying
to
the
kill you.
Swifties overreacted?
Shocker.
Wow.
I mean, people wrote songs taking the lyrics from one of Taylor Swift's songs and turning it into this like awful, Taylor Swift did us wrong in Vienna and put it out on TikTok.
Yeah.
Very odd.
Yeah. It's a weird, and it's due to the phones, I think, more than anything. This weird connective, like they have a little bit of an ownership over the rise and fall of artists now.
Yeah.
And they have more power than ever before to voice concerns, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there was hysteria surrounding acts before, but really it was just the concert was your only chance to ever have an interaction or to have a connection that was in person. And now people feel like these with digital media that they can lash out at any point or create something that goes against somebody. They can sell out their stock very publicly and create a backlash. So all of this is very interesting, and it leads us to basically telling all these artists like, hey, make sure you got your act in order before you try to get in a situation where you lose your mind at what's up, playa.
Yeah. What's up, playa?
That's what I'm going to
Crash
call it
my
now.
playa.
It's not Crash My Playa anymore. It's
What up, playa?
What up, playa? That's what it is. That was the festival in my recollection.
What up, playa?
Correct. That's going to do it here for us on the Meltdown. We appreciate all of you players out there that have watched the show today, and we would love for you to support not only our title sponsor, that's MyBookie at mybookie.ag. You can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. You want to be a real player? Go to mybookie.ag, where you can use promo code next round so you can bet on those players in the game, and go ahead and make yourself a player at the blackjack table as well. It's all right there at mybookie.ag. Make sure you use that promo code next round. We'd also love for you to head over to Culver's, our studio sponsor here. Tyler, we love some Culver's, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. One of my least favorite things is when you go to a drive-through and they ask you to pull up and you're like, oh my gosh, I know, like now you're having to look back. Am I going to get my food? Or they forgotten about me?
Yep.
Is everything going to be in there? What if there's a problem? I have no one. They basically drop it off and run, and there's no place where you can, like, then you have to stop the car, go in and be like, hey, you left out half the meal. Not the case with Culver's, because by design, they have a very unique drive-through where everything is made fresh to order, which you taste the difference between fresh to order and been sitting there forever.
You absolutely do. It is night and day. You pull up to the drive-through window like you would at any other spot. You pay for your food, you get your drinks, and then they say, I'm pulling up for a little bit. We're finishing it up right now. And you pull up and you wait until your order is fresh, hot, in your lap.
Yeah.
Ready to eat.
It's by design. What they do is they put a sticker on your car to let you know what number you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come out in coordination with the sticker and give you your meal fresh there. Worth the process, worth the wait. They're at Culver's, everything made fresh to order, and a great time. So make sure you head to Culver's, as you can get the fresh custard too. It's just great. I could lose my mind at Culver's. It's actually tough for me to show up here to the Culver studio because I want to be locked away in a Culver's. And
that's true. You did try to film in there once.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
And, I've gotten the message. The restraining order has come through, but we love Culver so much. You should try it out if you haven't already. That's going to do it for us here on The Meltdown. I'm Tim. That's EG and Tyler. We'll see you again tomorrow, 2:00 Central, 3:00 Eastern.